There's a huge star in the office today. The speaker in the flesh. You guys, there's a huge star in the office today. The speaker in the flesh.
Skye Squad, we are back in the building, baby. We are back in the building, and we have got to discuss Giselle and Robyn's response to bullying and colorism claims made by the fans and also by some of their castmates. So let's get into it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do so. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell button and join the texting community. And I will text you every time we go live. Now, this is a video clip that is taken from the Prima Donald on Instagram. Now, he does a lot of hosting and things like that for Bravo related shows and content, entertainment, activations, and that sort of thing. So that is why you guys see this video on his page. And I'll put a link in the description down below so you guys can further check him out. Good guy, nice guy. I think I met him briefly at the Real Housewives of Dubai premiere in New York. And so apparently the Green Eyed Bandits are in New York City to, I guess, maybe promote their live podcast. So they also happened to stop by the Sherri Shepherd show. Oh, yes. They stopped by the Sherri Shepherd show where they were asked some very pertinent questions, not only about said speaker who has become the de facto star of the show, but also about what the fans online are saying specifically about the bullying and color issues that the cast currently faces from a large segment of the fans, and has even been called out by Wendy and Candace themselves. I want you guys to pay attention to Giselle and Robyn's responses because I think that they are both very telling about what they feel about it, and they didn't even really want to acknowledge it. So take a listen and then we'll dissect it. And we'll dissect it a little bit as we're playing through.
Isn't entitled to their own opinion.
You see even at the mere mention of the issue, Giselle is a bit choked up. Okay.
Of us, but you know,
get it together.
Of us, but you know, that's social media.
Right.
I always feel like social media does not pay us, so I don't pay attention to it.
So I want to just take a second to review this one point right here. This response to me is, I think, typical of what I would feel like Giselle would say with regards to social media in general. But the question was actually two parts. Whether or not she heard the two parts is up for debate. And the question itself was presented as one question, but there are definitely two parts. So Sherri asked, what does she think? There's been a lot of speculation online about, the bullying and color issues on the Real Housewives of Potomac. What do you say to that? And that is a very common way of being politically correct with having to ask a very difficult question, because it presents the argument and then it presents the person being interviewed an opportunity to respond. Okay. And shout out to Sherri, because that's a pro that knows how to do that. Oprah does that very well as well. A lot of great interviews do it, and it's just not just the people on TV. So let me not even. I want to make that clear. But it is a very good way to ask a very direct question that your interviewee may not want to answer, but it allows them to answer in an affirmative way, but also to address the question. Now, I say it's two parts because Sherri did mention online But the fact is that this issue has been brought up not only online, but also on the show. Now, Giselle's response to me is typical of what I feel like she thinks about social media. And I've often said this myself, is that, the stars should be very wary about engaging in social media battles, because social media is not what they're being paid for. Outside of a sponsorship deal, which, to be honest with you, you run the risk of losing out on if you spend time online arguing with other people, specifically fans, or maybe even other reality TV stars who are on your same show. To me, it's just an activity that is fruitless and it does not pay. It really doesn't. And if you allow social media to make you into that type of person that becomes combative with the fans or with other reality TV stars, it is a very deep, dark, dismal hole that you can find yourself in, that plenty of other people have found themselves in. And while it creates great news stories for the online community, it really does yourself no favor. So you're not getting paid for it. So essentially, you are engaging in something that is quite literally going to be mentally draining for free. Okay. So I understand if it was about responding to things on social media in general, I would totally understand her response, because I believe that's just who Giselle is. And I believe that's how she thinks. But the problem is, there's a second part to this question, because the issue of bullying and colorism doesn't just exist within the online community in terms of viewers. It is something that it seems as though there are cast members of hers who actually face. And in the, I don't know, just for the sake of sisterhood and basic humanity, it would behoove her to at least address the issue itself, versus simply dismissing it as foolishness, as you guys will see that she's about to do.
The minute it pays us, I'll be all in. But until then, yeah, it's just foolishness. It's just foolishness. It's just foolishness. Yes. Yeah. It's just foolishness. It's just foolishness. It's just foolishness. Yeah.
All right. So that was Giselle's response. Basically, for her, it's all just foolishness. So Robyn had a different take. And I want you guys to listen to what she had to say, and then we'll discuss her response.
Yeah. And I agree. And honestly, like, I'm not perfect and I don't pretend to be perfect, so I don't expect to be on a reality show about our real lives being perfect. And
this is a response that I feel like it is a response that is true. Okay. I don't expect my reality TV stars to be perfect, but I also don't expect to be triggered by heinous behavior either, i.e. recording a fight. That doesn't need to be recorded because it's already being recorded by cameras. But what she's saying is technically true.
So it's fine if people want to get upset from episode to episode. That means that they're enjoying the show.
I agree with her statement that it means that, sometimes it means that, listen, online chatter and our communities where we recap these shows, we do enjoy the shows. But there are moments specifically with regards to the color and the bullying issue that are clearly, again, just not even being addressed in these responses. Yes, the online fan community, we do enjoy the shows and we do have a right to express our opinions and responses to things that we see, and to laugh at the shade and all of that kind of stuff like that. But again, we're seeing triggering behavior for a lot of us, too many of us, in fact, for it to be considered entertainment. So there has to be a look taken at what's happening on the show, to sort of ensure that, it's not giving the optics of a color issue. You know what I'm saying? And that's really kind of what a lot of people are feeling with regards to this issue. I want to direct you guys to our friends over at the Jasmine brand, because as I was, kind of collecting my data for the story, I was looking at some of the responses to, what people were kind of saying. And I think these responses are similar to a lot of what I've seen expressed by, a lot of you in the comment section for the videos. And I've seen these sentiments expressed a lot online. One person says Mia throws a drink on Wendy and then calls Wendy ghetto. Robyn calls Wendy antagonizing after a drink was thrown in her face. Giselle tells Karen she needs to defend Mia after Mia was the one who threw the drink. The issue on the show is so loud. And it says, another person says, so Robyn, Giselle, and Ashley can do whatever, but Candace and Wendy can't. Robyn, Giselle can go bully their castmates and made podcasts doing so, but Candace and Wendy can't defend themselves and have to shut up because it's offensive. The issue is screaming. It's interesting to me because it somewhat reminds me of the Dr. Heavenly issue that people have with her, wherein Robyn and Giselle may talk about whatever they want to talk about on their podcast, which again they may be getting paid to do. But if Candace expresses her feelings on social media, it's not very much different from them going on their podcast and doing it. They're just getting paid for it. And well, Candace may be getting paid for her reels because reels can get they can get the coin on Instagram too. But it kind of it's kind of like and it's really no worse than what the ladies say in their confessionals. And another person says the optics look horrible and looks like this type of behavior. If Mia, Giselle, and Robyn were white, the optics would most certainly look like something different. They are lighter skinned Black women with the same bias, antagonistic energy. So yes, it's giving the color issue, full stop. So these are again just sentiments shared and expressed over the course of the past couple of weeks, actually over the past year or so, with regards to Potomac. And while I don't think that you have to address every single issue when you're doing the talk circuit and when you're responding to claims that are clearly running rampant through social media, as well as expressed by castmates and even brought up at reunions, I think that the level of sensitivity with which they responded to these questions is just quite telling of where they are and their thinking about it. I do feel like for Giselle, this is all just a show, and she's getting paid to clock in and clock out and do what she needs to do. But again, you have to also kind of be aware of the optics of how you might be maneuvering, because again, it could be an unconscious bias, but it does seem like a bias nonetheless. So let me know what you guys think about this situation. Um, you know, my hope is that we can talk about this without it becoming so triggering for people, because I think that if we can learn to have healthy discussions surrounding issues, then we are that much closer to figuring out how to rectify the situation, make it better, and move forward. But I think it first has to start with acknowledging that there is a true and actual issue that is at play here, or at least from the perspective of certain cast members, as well as a large segment of the audience. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I tried to handle this situation as thoughtfully and as carefully and as nuanced as possible, because I do think that this whole situation is nuanced and requires a great deal of care when speaking about. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next video.